Welcome to the Get Buckets podcast. In today's episode, we go through all the happenings from the NBA that have happened since our last episode, which was all the way back in 2021, middle of the pandemic. So lots for us to go through here. You don't want to miss it. Let's get it. I get buckets. Hello, listeners. We are back. It's been a long. What's it been, Paul?
It's been a long
Long
time.
Long time. It's been a very, very long time since we came to you through the magic of podcasts, and now, of course, YouTube. Shout out to our, I was going to say listeners, viewers.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's not quite a viewer. It's not quite a listener. We are back with the Get Buckets podcast in its new rebooted form. And it's been a very, very long time, Paul.
Almost 2 years, James.
Has it been that long?
May 2021.
You are way more prepped for this than I am. May 2021. It's been a long time. And shockingly, unlike a lot of what we've done on this podcast, we are in person.
Yes.
I can see you.
I can see you too, James.
And you have a face for radio.
And you have a body for radio.
You're not wrong. Now, hey, that's what happens when you get older. So we are back with the Get Buckets podcast. We have got a lot to catch up on, haven't we, Paul?
So much in fact. We're going to do it real quick. We're going to do a quick fire. What have we missed in 2 years?
Okay.
And I'm going to quick fire you, James.
What do I have to do?
You have to say good or bad.
Just, that's it.
Yeah.
Am I allowed more than one word?
You know a couple of words if you want to.
Alright, I'm ready.
I might quiz you in some of the bits.
And this is everything since May 2021.
I mean, not everything. I've got a few things here. There's a few,
but all these things have
major
happened since May.
Since May 2021.
Okay, I'm ready. I feel prepped. Wait, hold on. I'm parched.
Ooh. Oh, of course. I'm parched too. Maybe a lovely ginger kombucha.
A kombucha. Is that how it's pronounced?
Kombucha? Bucha?
Kombucha. It's got turmeric in it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, to the listeners, we are drinking that number one living ginger kombucha.
Oh, yeah.
It's lightly sparkling. It's organic with turmeric, which is good for me because I'm coming off the back of a cold.
Yes.
So here's to you.
Cheers.
Not a bad clink.
Beautiful.
Oh, wow. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel ready for you to give me all the news of how long? Nearly 2 years?
Nearly 2 years.
2 years. Let's do it.
So, the Bucks won in 2021. Good or bad?
Good.
Yeah. They beat the Suns. Good or bad?
Double good.
Who was the other team in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks? Do you remember?
In the East? Against the...
They beat your Knicks in the first round.
Was it the Hawks?
It was the Hawks, yeah.
Oh.
And now look at them, and they're playing.
Yeah, in your face,
They went to the
Atlanta. In your face, Atlanta.
Who,
in your face.
What about the West Conference Finals? Do you remember?
Was it the Mavs?
It was not.
Suns and... God, I'm trying to remember. Was this the the bubble?
Year after the bubble.
Suns versus in the West. Oh.
Do you want any?
Denver?
No.
I give in.
No.
Help me
It
out.
was the Clippers.
Oh, yeah.
The year they beat the Jazz.
The
and then-
eternal disappointing.
Yeah, well, they went to the final
Clippers.
because Western Conference
Oh,
Finals.
no. I never quite believe them.
Good or bad, James? The Nets got knocked out in the semis in Game 7 against the Bucks.
Good.
Good or bad? The Joker has won 2 MVPs in the 2 years we've not done podcasts.
Good. I love him. He deserves it.
Does.
I know they have issues defensively, but he's just an absolute monster, isn't he? I love watching him play.
Yeah, he's amazing. Golden State Warriors won the championship in 2022. Good or bad?
Good. Splash Brothers.
They beat the Celtics. Good or bad?
Oh, so good. So good. Gotta love Steph, man. He deserves it.
How about the number one team that year, the Suns, with 64 wins, lose to the Mavs in Game 7 after they trash.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to stop the one word here and just really break this down because that story is going to live in infamy. That's like NBA history now. The fact that they had that book was rolling on the floor going, the Luka special, like one game where he got hit and he rolled around like an idiot. And then there was that clip of Luka after saying, everybody talking when they're up. And then, of course, they lost. They were down by like 40 in the second quarter of Game 7.
Yeah.
And that shot of like Devin Booker trying to pretend he can't see Luca, and Luca's just face just like round the corner staring at him. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
so
like,
good.
do you remember that advert for Game Day with Dirk? Where he'd be like,
Oh yeah, Game Day. Yeah,
and he'd turn up everywhere. Luca's doing that. Like, he's turning up round the corner like,
I love
hey.
it. Yeah.
And I love it because, you know, up until maybe a month ago, Suns were the most hated team in the league. I think Memphis has taken that from them.
Ooh, maybe.
But maybe that's something we can debate a bit later. But yeah, very much happy. You know we love Luca.
Good or bad, James? The Nets got swept in the first round last year.
Oh, it's so good.
I guess
I'll drink to that.
there's been some trades in the time we've been away. I got some of the bigger ones here. Mitchell went to the Cavs. Good or bad? Because he's almost a Knick, wasn't he?
I mean, yeah, it's good for him. It's good for the league. It's good for the Cavs. It hurts because he's even said he was like, yeah, I'm going to New York. He spent the whole summer going to New York Mets games. He's from that area. He's really close to loads of people in the team. It was a constant back and forth on the trade deal happening, and then rumors say that basically the Jazz were so annoyed that we had the gall to show up and watch one of their games that they were like, we're just not sending him there, and they took what seems like a very similar offer to what we gave
really?
from Cleveland to send him there. It's great for the league because they look fantastic together. It's absolutely gutting as a Knick fan. The only thing that sort of make it better is that Brunson's took such a huge step that it feels like not as much of a loss as it might have been. But yeah,
if you got
I mean,
Mitchell, would you have not got Brunson? Is it either
no,
or?
we already had Brunson. It would have been both.
Oh shit.
But then you go like, well, would Brunson have had as big a role? Would he have developed the same? I don't know. But it's not a bad second prize. But aside from all that sort of bias, yeah, good for him. Good for the league. Good that he's not stuck in Utah anymore with Gobert.
Well, speaking of Utah, Rudy went to Timberwolves. Good or bad?
I mean, for who?
For the Wolves. Good or bad? You got two centers side by side.
Bad? I think it's bad.
Yeah.
Rudy, great defensive player. Idiot, COVID idiot. Like anyone who's
God,
listened to us
yeah.
before knows that he is the COVID idiot. But I don't see how he fits.
I know.
Like, we had conversations a couple of years ago where we couldn't quite figure out how to fit Westbrook with the Rockets because we were like, we don't see how it fits. And I feel the same about this. You know, Cat, amazing player.
He can shoot Cat though, so he can step outside.
He can, and
He
I
can't
know
guard
he's
outside, though.
defensively he's lacking, but then you end up with this sort of Twin Towers vibe, but
Yeah.
one can't defend and one can't attack.
It would have worked in the 90s maybe, or
Yeah.
noughties, but
It's
well, Cat's been injured since November, so not really had much chance
so I
to
bet
really...
the team's probably better balanced without him, which is stupid because he's one of their big stars. I don't think it's great. A portion of that is because I don't like him as a player. A portion of it is he's the COVID idiot, and a portion of it is that I've said good to everything so far. So I feel like got to change it up.
For good podcasting, you've got to have a bit of
Yeah.
drama. Yeah.
I'm saying bad.
Same bad. Okay.
Yeah, in your face, Rudy.
DeJounte Murray went to the Hawks. Good or bad?
That's quite. I was about to say good for the Hawks, but they're not doing good.
No.
He came out in the media like mocking the Knicks a little bit because there was rumours that we were trying to trade for him, and then lots of our fans were basically like, we don't need him, we don't want him. So he was obviously a bit miffed at that. But that's what happens when you're followed by enough people that there's always someone saying something. That there's always going to be words about it. So I don't think it was targeted, but there was very much a kind of he wanted to take revenge games at the Garden against the Knicks. But aside from that, you look at how they're doing. It's not good.
It's not great.
It's not good. Yeah, I mean, who's their primary ball
That's it,
handler?
you got 2 point guards.
And they're very different.
Yeah. Trey Young has to come like a Curry and sort of be off ball lots, but he doesn't want to be off ball. So,
Nope.
yeah. So, was that like a mixed?
No, I think
not
it's
good?
bad.
You think it's bad?
Well, actually, no. It depends. If they move on from Trey Young, it's good.
Move on, Trey Young.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know, controversial.
Is that a hot take?
That might be a hot
Oh my
take.
God.
It's
First
our
hot take of the
first
season.
hot take. I was so not ready for this hot take.
Came out of nowhere.
I wasn't ready with my sound.
Unexpected.
Ooh, that's hot, that's hot.
There you go.
That's hot.
It's been a while since we've heard that one.
Good or bad, James? The Nets have blown it up.
It's so good. It's so good. It's funny. if you went back to the summer where they got Durant and Kyrie, and how much Knicks were mocked for not saying they'd do anything and everything to get both those players in the team. Look at it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, as you know, we're launching on YouTube. If I get the time and effort, I might even put together a little string of all the ridiculous things that have happened, and in the background, because it has been
Shambles.
Thank you for giving me shambles.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to go with a similar word beginning with a similar sound, but this is a family show. Yeah, it's been utterly hilarious. The only thing you can say is that in certain moments, those players looked phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Kyrie let KD down big time.
Oh yeah. I like how Harden was like, I'm out, I'm
Yeah,
out, guys.
he got it, went,
I'm
this
out."
is great. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, bye.
Like, I'm not the crazy one here. I'm out.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm supposed to be the weird one. What is happening?
Speaking of Harden to Philadelphia, good or bad?
I have to say good, because
Yeah.
we talked about this endlessly. We talked loads about what would you do. It was when Simmons and Embiid were together,
Yeah.
and we had a whole, at least on one of the pods, a conversation about who would you build around, and we all kept going Embiid, and they go, who would you put with him? And we ummed and ahed and said Harden,
Yeah.
and we said that pick and roll would be dangerous. So I'm gonna have to say good. I know he's not quite what he was, but great partner for Embiid.
Yeah, perfect. What about Durant to the Suns? Good or bad? He's injured now, so he can't really.
I mean, for the Suns, it's good.
For the league, maybe bad, or maybe it's good for the league.
No, I think it's good because it probably pushes the Suns a little further, but it does reinforce this kind of thing about KD that he's always going to be a kind of also-ran kind of character.
Okay.
He doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be the one that leads and people sort of like, he's the Batman, they're the Robin. He's not necessarily the Robin, but he's never the only Batman, if you know what I mean. I'd love to see him as the piece where there's, you know, role players around him, but it seems like that's not something he's interested in. So he's just moving around to any team that's almost there and trying to push him over the top,
Yeah.
which there's no better player to do that. You know, him and Booker together on a team is it's beast mode.
It's beast mode, you're right.
So yeah, it's good, if a little predictable.
Yeah. Like I say, just Durant moving to teams that are already like pretty good,
Yeah.
and then them doing good. It's like, well, yeah, because
Yeah.
they were already good.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? It's almost like you see what he's doing now, and it's the kind of thing you see from a fading star sometimes.
Yeah,
Like they're like,
yeah.
okay, I can't quite do it on my own anymore. I'll move around. He's like, I could do it on my own, but I don't wanna.
These guys are good. Play
Yeah,
with them.
I'm just gonna play with them. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's good. If a little disappointing.
Yeah. And what about the last one here? Good or bad? I haven't taken this one as well, but Kyrie to the Mavs.
Okay, before I answer this, we have to address the elephant in the room. That long-time listeners will know that Paul is somehow both a Bulls fan and a Mavs fan.
Yeah.
So this is something near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
When I saw that trade, I couldn't decide if I needed to send you like a high five emoji or like a pat on the shoulder. Are you okay?
Uh-huh.
Like I genuinely didn't know which
Yeah.
way I felt about it. Is it good or bad? That's such a simplistic question for such a complex issue.
Make a choice.
Luka needs help. I was about to say he's the wrong help, but equally you can't have Luka running the ball all day every day. You know, that whole offense is in his hands, so another ball handler does take that off him.
It's true.
But Kyrie is a very, very strange character and influence. Now, before I answer this, I just want to put a caveat. I basically haven't watched the Mavs since he joined. So I can't really comment on how it's working. I can only comment on my sort of like first thought. But I'm going to say bad.
Yeah, I think it's pretty bad. Obviously, he's a great player.
Yeah.
But terrible defense, and Luka's not the best defender.
Mhm.
And they traded away their best wing defender in, I can't remember his bloody name now.
He's gone now.
I can't.
He's forgotten.
He's dead to me.
Yeah.
And they traded away Spencer.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
which
Back to the Nets.
Back to the Nets. Yeah, but I really like him. I thought he worked well next to Luka because he wasn't ball heavy, but he could do it if he needed.
He could take over.
Yeah.
He was like a sixth man that often was
Yeah.
in the starting lineup, I guess.
We needed a better wing or power forward type person, but we had Brunson last year, and that worked well. So maybe he could be like a better Brunson.
I mean, I feel a tangent coming here. how did you lose Brunson? Because he was not going to stay with the Mavs by the time the options were there, so they must have lost him earlier. What happened?
I think he wanted more money or something like that. I think the
He
contract he wanted wasn't what we were going to give him, and it was a mistake.
Yeah, it doesn't look good now, does it?
was a
Because
mistake, yeah.
people were like laughing. I think there was a meme going around about the Knicks. It's like, you've heard of the big three, watch out for the mid three. And it was like a picture of like Barrett and Brunson and Randall.
Yeah.
And that's aged terribly. That's aged like milk. Because actually, Brunson looks good.
Yeah,
Really good.
because last year we had Luka, Brunson, and Dinwiddie like sharing those two spots, and it was too heavy in those two spots. We needed to get rid of one of them and get a better 3 or 4, and instead we got rid of both of them and got a
Got
point
Kyrie.
guard.
And you hope to God that it's actually the Kyrie from... I mean, when's the Kyrie that got traded to the Celtics?
That was the last.
At that point,
yeah.
God, I would have snapped your hand off for
Yeah,
Kyrie.
yeah.
But it just has gone weird since then.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised he's not at the Lakers.
Yeah, I think.
I was convinced that's where he was heading.
But his contract runs out this summer, so it could literally be a rental. Could trade away all his pieces for like a few months, and he goes signs with Lakers. So
You know, it
It's a
would
gamble.
it would fit well in the Mavs.
Who?
Some sort of big who can shoot and also dribble.
you mean the jazz player? What's he called? Markkanen.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Definitely not one that you had and we discussed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But you know, players like that, they're unicorns, aren't they?
Kuzma.
Kuzma, that's
Kuzma.
it. Yeah, Kuzma,
yeah. The
Absolutely.
wizard Kuzma. Yeah.
Oh god.
Actually, yeah. KP actually would have suited, but he was expensive and like.
Who was coaching at the time? Because they didn't seem to make it work between them two at all, and I know KP was unhappy. I actually called it on this podcast, so you know.
I can't remember when Rick Carlisle he stepped down. I can't remember when. Now it's Jason Kidd. And Jason Kidd's a weird coach.
Yeah.
He plays like we got Christian Wood, who's a great player.
Yeah.
Bad defense, but can score.
Yeah.
But he plays him like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah,
weird.
that is weird because I was really interested in Christian Wood when he was becoming available, and he went, Maz was like, "Oh, okay, he's setting himself up there." And it's like, "Oh, you're a role player now."
Yeah, it's weird.
Because he went from being a role player, proved himself in a big season, and then was on the free market.
And Kidd wants to play more defense, so he can't do it. But when Luka and Kyrie were both injured, he still only played 20 minutes.
That's
I'm like,
weird.
get him in there. What are you doing?
That's trade bait.
I think you should just go in and all offense. That's what we're going for.
all.
Just go on. That's the team we've got. Then.
I mean, that's Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Denver. Watch it, Denver versus Mavs.
God, can you
Imagine all
Triple
offense.
doubles all round.
Yeah, by the All-Star game. We went on a tangent here. What
We did.
the
That was the
original
end. So that's everything that's happened that I wrote down in this list
in the last
in
2
2 years.
years.
Other things have happened.
Other things have happened. I would like to point one out and pour one out to the boy Carmelo Anthony, who seems to be done.
Is he officially retired, or is he still hanging around?
I've seen him on the sidelines looking cool. Does that count?
He looks cool.
He's got some nice outfits. But it does seem like that run with the Lakers was his last chance, and the Lakers were just so poor.
Yeah.
It's quite sad.
There were rumours that Suns might go for him after they got Durant, but nothing's happened. So I guess not.
Yeah, but you know, respect. Probably going to be a Hall of Famer. He's either a shoo-in or already in the Basketball Hall of Fame, but not the NBA one, because obviously he's done lots of stuff outside of the NBA. Either he's already in that one or he will be, and that's, you know, respect to Melo. You went a long time. I know he came around the same time as LeBron, but not everyone can be as eternal as that man.
I mean,
You know,
Christ. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Well, speaking of players who have stepped away from the NBA, Dwight Howard is now an all-star in
the
what is it?
Beijing Ducks or whatever
Yes,
they're
well,
called, yeah.
Taiwan, is it?
I assume
can't
he's
remember.
dropping like 70 points per game,
He had a 30
27
He had a
rebounds.
30 the other week. But his team are like something like 2-9, so he's putting huge numbers but losing a lot. He also got in a fight with a player the other week. I saw a
His
video
own
of him.
player? Or a different player?
No, the other team. They got in a big brawl happened, and Dwight's in there. I don't know.
I mean...
What are you doing? Oh, also, he entered into the 3-point shooting contest in the All-Star.
Oh!
And he wouldn't have come last if it was the NBA.
Amazing.
He scored more than like 1 or 2 people in the NBA's.
Amazing.
ranks, yeah.
Shout out to Dwight.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, a 30 and 30 game. I'd love to see the average height of the players in that league, just to see how much.
Yeah.
Like, average height and average weight.
Yeah. It looks like, I saw a bit of it. It looks like, you know, in Yeah, 2K, you make a player as big as you possibly can, and it looks ridiculous.
It looks like a Monstar gorilla.
Yeah. It's like that.
I mean, Dwight sort of looks like that in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, like, you take him to a smaller league, he's going to look like an absolute monster. But shout out to Dwight. I hope he's having a good time out there.
Yeah, I like how he's not just like the ego's not got in the way. You know, like he's going to play in.
Right, I'm coming here. I'm getting 30 and 30.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
I'm going off for 30 today. What points? No rebounds.
When he's like 50, he'll go to like an even smaller market and
Yeah.
still get 30.
Start dunking on people.
When he's 70, he'll be in our league.
Yeah. And he'll still be dunking on us. Yeah. Oh, Dwight. Shout out to Dwight.
James, should we get into some current news?
Whoa. Did you say the magic word?
Did you hear the news?
Politics?
No, the basketball news.
Basketball news.
It's been a long time since we got to do that.
It's been a long time,
We're
and I like
here
it.
in basketball news.
I think we start with the most major news for James. The Knicks. The Knicks are back, baby.
Give me a moment while I breathe it in and take this.
Say go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York!
Paul?
Where are they in standings? Are they 5th right now?
Last I checked, 5th, but it may have changed in the last few days. But more than that, they look good.
They do
The
that.
culture looks good.
Yeah.
They're playing great. It is incredibly exciting to follow the Knicks right now. My nephew is 7, and obviously because he's my nephew, he's now a Knicks fan. I have bought him so much Knicks stuff. But he watched his first live game just this... What day was it? Saturday gone, because it was on... it was the matinee game, so he watched it at 5 p.m. here.
Nice.
So he watched it with my sister as mum, and they were sending me photos of how hyped they were. It was against the Nuggets, obviously one of the best teams in the league, at the Garden. And I believe they were up, then they went down, and then in the last 6 minutes they won it, and the Garden was like on fire. Like it was like a playoff atmosphere, and it's been like that loads. It has been so much fun. You know, when the Knicks are good, there's nothing like it, and obviously when they're bad, you live through it for a long time. So it is really, really nice to see. I have nothing negative to say. Let's go Knicks.
Have you still got Tibbs as the coach?
We still got Tibbs, and it's funny because was it in December-ish? We had a little bit of a run of bad. It was bad, and we were losing, and we looked like we'd lost some of the key things that made Tibbs teams like that. Intensity on defense, the effort, the grind. You know, jumping for loose balls. It didn't look quite right, and you have a few games like that sometimes. But when it's consistent over enough of them, you think, has he lost the team? What's happened? It's very weird. And he came out and said, right, we're pulling it back. It's going to be a 9-man rotation. And from there, they went on a big winning streak.
Oh, yes.
And it's got...
It's when D-Rose stopped playing, right? That's sort of around that time.
Yeah, about that time. And they've been fantastic ever since. I think that's the time when Reddish stopped getting minutes. And I know there's some Knicks fans out there that think we've just thrown away Paul George. We absolutely haven't. We played him in Portland and he got 2 points.
What's this, Paul George?
Well, Cam Reddish we had.
Okay.
And
I
when
see. Okay, yeah.
Some Knicks fans think that he's basically the next Paul George, and we're stupid to throw away such a talented player. I mean, he didn't do enough at the Knicks. He was okay, but the role he wanted and why he kicked off.
Who did you get back in return? Josh Hart?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, who's
Yeah.
playing fantastic.
Yeah.
He's been absolutely brilliant for us. We went 9-0 in his first 9 games. It's pretty good. So, you know, it looked bad for Tibbs at one point, and he turned it around, and it came out, it's only a rumour of course, so you never know, but it came out that he told supposedly family friends in December they're going to get rid of me. And then at that exact moment he turned it around, and they look so good.
That is good to hear. Meanwhile, the Bulls have got worse this year than last year.
See, it's funny, at the start of the season, I would have expected them to be better.
Me too. I think Lonzo Ball being injured still, and the rumours of him being injured for the entirety of next season as well.
It doesn't look good for Lonzo.
Because he was a key piece. He
really doesn't look good.
So that's
Who's
not
your starting
good.
point guard now? Is it Kobe White?
No, we're starting. It changes quite a bit actually.
Whoever you can.
I can't remember his name. He was a D. I'm not sure. But we have who's the Laker guy who was G League player name.
Oh, you still got the
We still
bald
got him.
number.
Yeah, we got him still.
Yeah.
Kobe comes off the bench.
Right. Okay.
Bit of a scoring.
So you're lacking a starting point guard, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and without that, you've got DeRozan taking mid-range and he'll score
Which is
them.
great.
And you've got Vucevic, and he's a good big who can
Vuce.
score.
Yeah.
But without a point guard to pull all that together, it's going to be ISO heavy, I assume. I haven't watched it, I'm just
It
assuming.
is pretty ISO heavy, and you got Levine as well can score. But again,
He's trade bait.
It's a lot of-
Someone's going to trade for him, I think.
I thought we might blown up this year. Before the trade deadline, we were down in 12th, I think. And I thought, again, we could blow it or go. We made no trades to get more people.
Mm.
But that leads me on to the next bit of news here, James. It's the play-in chaos.
The playoffs.
Exactly.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Play-in-ios.
It's spread out a little bit more now in the East, but
Yeah.
obviously, as you know, the play-in
Ooh,
7 to.
let me just stop you there. Did the play-in exist the last time we recorded? Is it new enough to be a new thing?
Oh,
I feel like it might be.
you might be right. I don't actually remember.
In that case, Paul, good or bad, the play-in?
Good.
Yeah, it's good, right?
It's causing some real chaos. In fact, let me go to the
Yeah.
West, where the 4th seed Phoenix, all the way down to the 12th seed Pelicans, are 3 games. So how many teams is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
What
9
odds-
teams within 3 games.
What odds would you get on Phoenix not making the playoffs?
But I think one bad run, suddenly you're down in 13th from 4th.
It's pretty funny.
The Lakers are in it. The Lakers are now 10th.
Ooh, tangent. Do you think Lakers will make the playoffs this
I
year?
think they might,
I think they'll make it.
after all the trades they've done.
Yep, I think they'll make it.
Before, no. But now,
Hmm?
although I think it's a shame Jazz might not, because they've been a surprise of the season.
Yeah, I mean, where are they at now? Because
11th. But
weren't they at the top of the West at one point?
they were like,
Have they just completely sank? Did I miss this?
they were near the top. The Pelicans were number 1 at one point, now they're 12th.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. But Zion played like 30 games and
I mean, Zion's an issue. It
Yeah.
seems like if he ain't playing, he can't keep his fitness.
oh no, he's played something like 30 games a season in 4 years.
Yeah, and actually,
It's crazy.
do you know what? I have to do this, Paul.
Warning, warning, incoming rant from the Get Buckets podcast.
Uh-oh.
I'm staring intensely at Paul right now.
Oh.
The year that he was drafted, obviously I wanted Zion. The Knicks got the 3rd pick. So Zion went first, Morant went second,
Mm-hmm.
and RJ Barrett went to the Knicks. And people mocked us for like, haha, look at Morant, he's this big star. Look at Zion, he's the future of the league, and you got this mid player and all that. Can we stop for a minute?
Mm.
Morant is busy being a gun gangster.
Uh-oh.
Zion can't get on the court. RJ be doing good.
RJ, he's there,
RJ
isn't
be
he?
doing good. He doing just fine. Thank you very much, everybody.
I think Jar might have turned it around, hopefully.
I hope so. Like, joking aside, I hope so.
Yeah.
Other than his use of the carry, which, you know, upsets me.
Yeah.
And that's another rant. I won't open that up today. But for anyone following social media, you've probably seen the low lights people have made of how much he carries to get past his defender. But aside from that one thing that can be changed, great player. Like, I really like him.
But Zion, yeah, great player, but cannot stay on the
He
court.
can't sit on the court, no.
You need to play him like 15 minutes a game or something just so he can play.
And the problem is, of course, the thing that makes him so special is that he's in that body but can jump like that.
Yeah.
But that seems to also be the thing that injures him, and seems to also be the reason he can't get back on the court. So
Yeah.
you're like, do you ask him to play less athletic?
Yeah.
But then, is he still effective the way he was? It's a real difficulty for them.
Another question for you. Portland now basically out of the running.
Yeah.
Dame, though, I think he's second in scoring.
Didn't he drop 70 the other day?
Something like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
71.
71,
I
yeah,
thought it was
71,
71,
yeah. Should he stop for the season, rest, or should he request a trade? Should he keep playing and get many points as possible? What do you think, James?
I don't think he'll ever request a trade because he's almost ideologically bound to. He's said a number of times he's sick of seeing people just chasing things, and it's like build it
It's true.
yourself kind of thing. I think Portland should do right by him and say to him, we think it's time for you to trade, because he has stuck it out with them. He's absolutely stuck it out with them, and I think he deserves to go somewhere where he can do a run at a proper title opportunity, because it just doesn't seem like they have what's needed for him. I was actually listening to shout out to the Locked On Knicks podcast. They did an episode where they were I'm gonna have to stop there. Paul tried to Google Dame's age, so he searched for how old is Dame, and his result is Judi Dench.
He's 88, by the way.
age 88.
She's doing well for that. I mean, you try...
I love that. Just the term Dame could be any Dame in the history of damehoods.
She's
But the
top
first
there.
result is just Judi Dench.
Oh, wowee. That's amazing.
Okay, so for the future sort of canon and lore of our podcast, anytime I'm going to talk about Dame, I'm just going to say Judi Dench.
Oh, wow, Dame is 32.
Yeah, so he's got a little time left, but his window's closing, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
closing.
Kyrie's 31. My God.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah, they're all sort of
Harden,
coming towards the end of their window.
Even Anthony Davis, 30.
Yeah.
He still seems to me like a 22-year-old. I don't know.
That's because he's basically only played as many games as that because he's always injured.
People getting old, man.
I know. But Dame, Judi Dench.
Yeah.
So Judi Dench will never request a trade from Portland, but I think he needs to. I was listening to a Locked On Knicks episode where they asked the question, if the Knicks went for like a crazy trade this season to try and push them over the top and make them true contenders, who would it be? And they offered a few options. I didn't really buy into any of them, but one of them was Dame. And if it weren't for Brunson, I'd be like, yeah. That's it. But I couldn't quite figure out in my head how you fit that together.
Yeah.
Who gets the ball and defensively and a load of other things. With that said, if they did it, I'd be happy and I'd roll with it because I don't hate it. But I do think he should go somewhere, and it needs to be somewhere that needs a ball-dominant guard who's also good enough to be close to contending. And that's quite controversial because usually in that league, you're not close to contending if you don't have a top-tier ball-dominant guard.
He probably got is as well. He's on a lot of money.
Yeah.
Star players. If you trade for him, you've got to give away.
You've got to throw it all out.
most all your stuff, and
Yeah.
then you're back to
Going
where
all
he
in.
was in Portland with no one because he's traded it all. To
Yeah,
get
you've
him.
got to go all in. I mean, can you think of a team that it works for?
What do you mean go? Oh, for
Who
for
could Dame go to that A, the team could make it happen, and B, that makes them a title contender?
See, if Portland embrace a tank, then they could trade, say, with OKC for 27 million picks.
Yeah,
And
but that
maybe
doesn't
that will-
that doesn't put Dame in contention for a title. It just helps Portland.
Well,
What I'm
yeah.
saying is, can you think of anywhere that Dame could go?
Okay, well, first OKC actually are like mid-table. There's something like that.
But they
Basically,
got,
my point
they
is
got SGA though. That's the guard.
that's true. But the point is, if someone's got a lot of picks, then way you can make it work because you can't trade away all your players to get a good player because then you've got new players to play with a good player. You see what I'm saying?
What about Denver? You probably have to send Murray the other way.
And more than that, you know.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, you could put.
I'm
yeah.
just wondering, does that push Denver over the top if Jokic is running with Dame instead of Murray?
Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Those
But it's
two
hard
go.
to say because Murray was injured for a fairly long time. So
I
any
like him.
thoughts we have about how good Denver are probably is reflective of the time he was out.
You could maybe do Clippers because they've got
What's that backcourt?
we got Dwight Powell off the bench. He was from Portland, so that would be trading back again.
You know, that's a big shout.
You got-
Making the money work would be very hard, and you'd
That's
have
true.
to absolutely strip out so many players to make the money work. But you put him in that team, you've got lockdown defenders and wing scorers in their 2 stars now, Kawhi and Paul George, and then you add Dame, who can literally light it up from half court. I read somewhere that he is more accurate at volume than Steph from those distances.
I think so,
He's
so.
actually
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
that Steph has done it at championship level.
Yeah.
But he's the most consistent and the highest scorer of that ilk. Put him on the Clips. That's interesting. Put him on the Lakers.
I thought Lakers. Here's a hot take.
Whoa. Let me get ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, you want it up front?
Yeah, do it up front. Yeah.
Ooh, that's hot.
Trade Dame for LeBron.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's hot.
So you got Davis still. You got their deep team, and then Portland get a player who's good, still obviously still amazing, and can market him and sell lots of tickets, so they still win out.
You're essentially retiring LeBron from the
This might be like
championships.
a year or two, maybe next year.
Isn't he averaging like 30 points during one period of this
Yeah.
season?
Yeah.
If you were running Portland, would you do it?
Oof, that's a great question. I don't know. Also, LeBron wouldn't. He's so powerful in the NBA. He can stop any trade. You know what I mean? He wouldn't. If he didn't want it, he wouldn't do it.
Don't matter. If you were Portland,
If I
would
was
you do it?
Portland- Oh, no.
If you were LA, would you do it?
You know what? Maybe.
You traded. So have your bags.
How is LeBron still averaging 30 points though?
Oh, it's insane.
I don't understand that, but it's got to drop down next year or year after,
He's
surely.
all-time great. Absolutely fantastic. I've been one of the biggest critics of LeBron publicly. Not because I don't think he's fantastic, but because I don't think he's the GOAT.
Okay.
But absolutely, without doubt, top 5 of all time. There's a debate about who fits where within that. But when you look at people his age that have averaged, like, what they've averaged, he's way above.
Oh my God,
Like,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Like, Melo is out the league.
Yeah.
LeBron's averaging 30.
Yeah. And
Fair play.
with Dame, I can see his career going where he keeps resigning with Portland, nothing really happens, and he turns about 36, 37, gets a buyout, and then signs with a good team and comes off the bench like a backup point guard, then wins the championship.
Yeah.
That's why I see his career going at this current path, you know.
All right. Well, I mean, that's a bombshell, Paul. You know, I'm flabbergasted.
I didn't expect that to come out in this show,
It's-
but
it's
you know,
controversial.
There we go.
Do you have any other news for us?
Do I have any other news? Bucks, best team in the league. Who's
You
the
had a slight delay there when you went Bucks. I was going to go yes, paper. Yeah. Sorry. Best team in the league, the Bucks. I mean, that's not a shock.
No.
No. They've got a 7-foot long, lanky guy who's got a 78-foot wingspan who can do a Euro step from the 3-point line. And if anyone gets in his way, you've got a centre who shoots threes and a 2 that shoots threes nicely around him.
That's
and
true.
it's a perfectly lined up team.
How about this for a surprise? The top 3 teams in terms of record in the league, all in the East. You got Bucks, Celtics, 76ers.
I know. How close are the Knicks to that as well?
Knicks, 11 games back off the Bucks.
I was going to say, we can't be that far. And if you take it as just since Christmas, we'll have one of the best records.
But the West seem kind of weak.
It's funny because it wasn't long ago that the West was like the strong side.
Yeah.
Is this like the thing, like whichever conference LeBron's in, everyone go to the other side?
It could be because the West is very even, so no one actually wins that many. You know.
But yeah, it used to be, and that's sort of why the NBA All-Star game stopped being All-Stars of East versus West, is that it was lopsided, but it doesn't seem it nearly as much now. It's nice to see.
Have you heard about the Warriors' home versus on the road record?
Okay, this is guesswork, but I thought I heard that they were better on the road. Have I made this up?
You are completely wrong.
Oh, okay.
The Warriors are 29-7 at home,
Yeah.
and they are 9-29 on the road.
Oh, wow.
So on the road, they are one of the worst teams. At home, they're one of the best teams.
That's shocking.
Yeah. At the moment, they're 6th seeds, so they're going to be on the road for the playoff series. So
They're
gonna-
you know, their stars are a little bit older now, I think.
it's true. And Wiggins has been off for a while because of I think personal
Right.
issues. So
That makes sense.
yeah. So yeah.
Interesting. That's a shocker. You got any more news for me, Paul?
I got no more news. Oh, actually, I do have some news.
Some new news.
Some new news. Did you see Paul George's injury? I think yesterday.
No.
He went back on his knee. It bent inwards.
Like, backwards, inwards.
Yes, like in on itself.
Oh, Lord.
I think Lou Dort kind of stepped in and when he came down for a rebound and his knee went backwards
Oh,
and back again.
Lord.
But he might be out for, I think, read somewhere out 3 weeks. But
Only 3 weeks
I know,
is
yeah.
incredible.
I feel like it might be more, but
Well,
We'll find out.
best of luck to Paul George. Wow, that's shocking. Well, I suppose if we're going to wrap up, Paul, what are you looking forward to upcoming in the world of basketball?
you know what? Just the final few games when the play-in tournament and all the chaos, all these teams find each other. It's going to be a lot of is it tiebreakers between teams who beat each other?
Yeah.
It's going to be really confusing. So I'm excited for.
Who do you think LeBron ends up knocking out?
Let me see.
Because I am convinced he's going to the playoffs, and I think he deserves it too.
So I think looking at the current people in the play, you got Timberwolves, OKC, Dallas, and Lakers. I could see Dallas being knocked out the way we've been playing recently.
I'd be gutted because we want the Luka Magic.
Yeah. I can see the Wolves being knocked out as well.
Yeah, me
OKC
too.
could be a surprise.
Yeah, I mean they've got some good young players that I like. So, but I'd like to see Dallas And LA go to the playoffs.
I want to see Jazz go to the playoffs as well because they traded everything away.
Yeah.
So maybe Lakers and Jazz
But,
make it through.
I mean, for karma's sake, if the Jazz make it, stop wearing that stupid kit. You know, like
I
black
quite
and
like that little
fluorescent yellow
kit. I
thing.
kind of like it.
Oh my god, no! It looks like someone got a yellow highlighter and just wrote the numbers.
It's basic, but it's clean. I like it. It's like
It's not clean. It's reflective at night if you're cycling.
I like it, James. I want one. Send me one.
You want the Markkanen jersey?
I do actually.
You want the Markkanen jersey?
I hate we traded him away from Bulls, man. I liked him on the Bulls. Don't even.
Coaches didn't even seem to want him to do anything but spot up, did they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is crazy because coming in, people were like, "Is this going to be like the next KP? He can do this, he can do that." And the came in and was like, "He's going to spot up in the corner." I'm like, okay. I mean, I watched him play for Finland. He did a lot more than
They
that.
played sometimes at the small guard. The small forward.
The small guard.
He was the small guard.
They played at the guard forward.
Which is not where he should be. He should, yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, he deserves a bit of a run. Has he made the playoffs ever? Thinking about it,
I don't know.
because that's sad. With the season, he's had an amazing season. He deserves to
Yeah,
sort of shine a little bit.
So maybe Lakers, Jazz make it through the play-in. Maybe
Yeah.
that's our final hot take of the day.
It's a big hot take. Well, Paul, it's been a pleasure talking with you, welcoming our listeners and yourself back to our platform. For anybody out there in YouTube land, like, comment, and subscribe. You got any questions or topics for us? Throw it in the comments. And for everybody moving forward, what do they need to do, Paul?
They should get some buckets.
They should get some buckets. Take care.